On we go. I need
On
to
we go.
bellow out my very high-pitched me, which we established in the ground was a top G because I'm a nerdy musician.
Oh, go on. Yeah.
When the
Okay.
Millwall fans were doing the me, it was a top G against Fulham last year. I'm sure it changes every game, Harry, but um, really the success story of the whole. Well, if you not classing Cardiff as wasn't very much romantic about Cardiff, was there? So um, Millwall were
No,
the kind of darlings of the Championship last year, weren't they?
they were. You know what you're getting. You really know what you're getting. They 4-2, Bomber Harris, direct. They ripped Norwich apart early in the season, and we'll talk about that in a bit. Fark has this proclivity to playing lighter, sort of elfin, technically gifted players. He will, if he errs in one way, it'll be one steely player too few. And Millwall, they absolutely pummeled them. So the 3-0, I think, and it could have been a lot worse. They have a model of playing, and they fear we fear no one was one of the comments made. They're it's all about stability. Probably the progressives, and I would put them in there again, getting promoted from League One with a squad of players who know each other, who fight for each other, who trust each other implicitly, and an incredibly settled team. Um, the, the, the one fear you would have, and a couple of Millwall fans picked up on this, was that they were remarkably injury free last year.
Mm.
That they felt that they possibly got a bit lucky. Now it'll start a row on their forum because of some of them are saying, oh, for goodness sake, or something similar, and saying, and why can't we finish 10th? Why can't we finish 7th or 8th or 9th again? What's to stop us doing that? So yeah, there's there is that school of thought. One player they are going to miss is Ben Marshall,
And
because
I think as much the timing of that signing as well,
yeah,
it was like they were doing
yeah,
so well, and they just put in this kind of
yeah,
a bit more silky player than although Wallace and Saville they could play, but
yeah.
yeah, I think just throwing him in there just for a little bit of quality, I think helped as well. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it did. It added a creative dimension to the team, which really them for that second half of the season. And and they were gutted because he's now at Norwich. They were really gutted that they couldn't hold on to
Yeah,
him,
good player.
and they do feel he does need replacing. That would be, that would be the if there's one area that they could look out for, that would be the one. I'm trying to think. Uh, they've added, who else have they added? It's been again lots of with all these teams. It's all contract extensions. They've just bedded in what they've all got. I mean, options on Gregory O'Brien. They're all. It's um, keeping what they've got. Marlon Romeo. Let's just keep them. They've brought in a backup centre back, Murray Wallace from Scunthorpe, on a long-term contract. The one interesting one is Ben Amos, the keeper from Bolton, on a season-long loan,
Right,
and
that was the
I
big glaring weakness
yeah,
last season as well.
Archer. You talk about this. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've nailed most of it. 4-4-2, very very strong. And I'm not a Millwall fan, and I don't have any notes, but I could
Mm.
go Archer, Meredith, Cooper, Williams, Romeo, O'Brien, Saville, Wallace, Marshall at the end of the season, but Hutchison,
Yeah.
Williams,
Yeah.
Gregory and Morrison up front. You knew exactly what you were going
Yeah.
to get. But I saw Millwall several times just out of happenstance and because they would play on Fridays or whatever, and I think he made a mistake in every game, bless him. And I don't want to have a
Yeah.
pop at a pro footballer trying to do his job, but I think there was a bit of a sense that you know I I don't think they were ever going to get the playoffs. There was this wonderful sort of run towards the end, and they came up a little bit short. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
I think he was the one key player, and one player you haven't mentioned who, if you took out of the Millwall team, the entire thing doesn't work. And I don't know how old he is, but Steve Morrison is one of the cleverest wiliest championship
Yeah,
footballers you'll see,
yeah,
and they look
yeah,
incredibly different. When that guy is
yeah,
not stupid. He's very, very clever, and he's the brains around all of these legs around him. And
yeah,
you know when someone really is the conduit for everything on the pitch, and he's jibing. Griezmann did it for France in the
yeah,
World Cup. He's
yeah,
instructing other people, and skillful player sees a pass. Even things like Harris has obviously told them, right, when the ball goes out for restarts, straight over to the throwing line, lob it in, and he's hustling everyone to do
mm,
that job. And good partnership with Gregory. And I
yeah,
saw them without him, and I saw them with, and you're like, right, this guy's this guy's important.
yeah.
So that would be my
It's fundamental.
absolutely, yeah, and a better
Yeah,
player than a lot of people think. I think people look at his height and his build and
yeah.
think he's a bruiser. But I remember
He's a
Niall
unit.
Niall Quinn
You
used to
know.
get tarred with the same thing. And if you watch
Yeah,
Niall Quinn angling headers to Kevin
yeah,
Phillips, you'd think, my God, if a scientist
yeah.
analysed your ability to read an angle and four different moving things, it would be like, some kind of savant type level of angle appreciation. So I think sometimes do you know what I mean? These big guys get
I do.
get get lumbered,
Yeah.
and yeah, lots of assists and important plays, Morrison, I think.
Yeah, that's interesting. He's no, I agree. He's it's easy it is easy to put him in that little box, but he's not. He's somebody he augments all those players around him because of what he does. And I remember I went to the famous 4-3 night,
He wasn't there,
which I'll never
yeah.
forget. I was lying in bed I, yeah, and exactly that. He wasn't. It was, but you could it was quite a different team without him. You could see there was an uncertainty about them. Now, when you put it in that context, that he did make such a, his presence or absence makes such a difference to the team. It's
It's a
quite amazing.
very interesting
But
player as well, Harry. Fred
yeah,
Onyedinma, who is one of these
yeah,
guys who is so fast and so direct. You think, oh, if he can get a good bit of coaching and make some
yeah,
improvements himself, you got a real
yeah.
player there as well. But I don't think Harris really trusted him as a starter.
No, it's no, it's an, he played him in one of their final preseason friendly against Bochum, which was it was a testimonial for Jimmy Abdu. Abdu played for the first 5 minutes and then went off. They love Jimmy Abdu because he's an absolute trier. And I think a lot of them identify with him. He's somebody who makes the absolute best of what he's got. I think that's why he's an absolute folk hero for them. He had this testimonial, and but it was now who came, one of the players was Lee Gregory's wife had gone into labour, so Fred started up front with Morrison. But he's not. They don't. I think they see him.
Oh,
Millwall
Yeah,
fans as well. They
Gregory's
see him
clever. Yeah.
impact sub really. I think they see him as somebody who can mix things up. Yeah,
Are the wheels going to
yeah.
fall off then? Are they going to be able to go
I hope
injury
not.
free and
I hope not. I love them. I hope not. I love Millwall. Because they have an identity, they really do, and everything about them is synchronized. The brand of football they play, the the bonds they have with the fans, the bond they have with the manager, you wanted to keep going. And there was a period when they had Holloway in charge, and they fell in love with Holloway initially because they thought he was again one of these people who didn't follow the crowd. He was a little bit of a maverick, and they see themselves as mavericks. But of course, that all fell apart. They had a series of these sort of false starts, but now suddenly everything has clicked, and they're desperate to hold on to it. And I don't know. If we'll see, we'll see. I mean, yeah, they said the club's in a healthy situation. The previous cycle of two or three good seasons followed by a relegation is a thing of the past. Um, just because we might not have had a good season as last year, it doesn't mean they should start looking for the negatives. So, in that sense, they're not expecting to finish as they did this year, but just equally, they're not expecting to be in a relegation scrap.
and
Again, it could, yeah,
I,
they'll
I
be
was
right
going to
in there.
say I was going to say Harry, with tactics being so cyclical and everybody, trying to create four lines through their formation and no one
Yeah.
playing a front two, it's almost so old that it's new again, isn't it?
Yeah,
That the
yeah,
4-4-2 actually gives a problem for other
yeah.
managers that nobody else in the league poses.
Well,
Do you know what I mean?
if there's loads of different ways you can play 4-4-2, they play it brilliantly. And one of their fans, you actually, I was just looking at a quote one of them made on their forum. He said, "I don't buy into this second season we'll get sussed out malarkey." He said, "Plenty of sides knew what we were about and stop us. Fulham by the skin of their teeth in the first half only just survived, and Pulis had us sussed out at Borough. But other than that, nobody really undid. They're good at what they do. They can put subtlety and variation on it, and there's no reason why they can't keep doing it."
I was at that Fulham game, and it was
Yeah.
probably one of my favourite games I went to last season
Hmm.
because it was white hot,
Yeah.
atmosphere was real, and Millwall, it was a real lovely clash of styles, and Millwall bombarded them
Yeah.
and hit the bar for the first 15 minutes, and
Yeah.
then Sessegnon scored just after half time, but real big game feel, and Fulham were scared as well,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
and you've said what a good
Mm.
team there. Right.